You're live. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Well,
morning.
it's morning for us. I don't know what it is for wherever you are in the world, but we're here. So let the good times roll. What do we got? We've got a whole bunch of people chatting to each other in the comments again, which is great.
It's really cool. Some of you guys that were here with us last night are back. Hi again. Can't get enough.
People trying to decide what sailboat they want, things like that. Lights,
really
camera,
cool.
action. Yeah, we've had to dim it down a little bit. We've shut the curtains because it's such a bright day out there today. So, what do we want to say first? We're obviously, if you've missed our first session of the live chat, this is our second one, so everyone around the world can get in on it. So we have, because of what's been happening globally, it's affected us here in that we've been kicked out of national parks and things like that. So we brought our refit forward a little bit. So we're living in a house at the moment. You might see that Marule's looking a bit more spacious. We haven't refitted it just yet, but we've settled into land. So the videos will catch up where we're still out there sailing, but in real time, we're busy sanding and ripping wiring out of a boat.
That's right. So she looks quite different. So you will be seeing some videos in a few months' time of how she looks right now.
Yep. Yeah. So what was one of the questions that we were asked to address was repairing a deck. So
that was from our patron, Chris. Yeah.
And he's saying what was
Hopefully
the best.
You're there, Chris.
Hopefully you're there. When I've always repaired a cord deck, if I've been unfortunate enough to be stuck with something that's rotting like that, I reckon a router is a good way to go because you can find out what the depth is with a drill, find where the second, because usually with a laminate you'll have fiberglass, some sort of core that's rotten, and then another layer of fiberglass. I normally drill, find out what that depth is, set a router to the right depth where I can just take out the top and leave the bottom skin and then rebuild it up from there, and that it leaves a support. Whether you're going from the top or the bottom just means what access you've got. If you don't access from the top, then you have to go through the bottom, but it is complicated. So go from the top if you can.
Go from the top if you can, because that was the question, wasn't it? How do I tackle these fittings from top or bottom?
Yeah, go from the top if you can, because gravity will help. Because when you're laying up stuff upside down in a tight confined boat, it's fraught with possibilities.
Ryan had a question too. Do you remember what his question was?
We addressed Ryan's question because he was there last night.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
You guys rock. No, you guys rock. Thanks for everyone for just supporting us, being there, enjoying the videos, letting us know that you're enjoying the videos. Of course, people like patrons, people that have contributed to us, it means, and we've made a point of saying it, that we don't have to take on corporate sponsors. We can say anything we want, not that we say anything that's that controversial. So, what do we got there, Pascale?
Well, welcome everyone. There's lots of people jumping on board. Just a little recap of we're not on Marule, obviously. We didn't upgrade to a ginormous boat. We're renting a place. It's getting cold now. And so, we've pulled everything off the boat and we're currently refitting Marule, the interior of Marule, which hasn't been done for 4 years and it wasn't fully done when we left Perth. So, it's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and the paint looks pretty shocking on the boat. And a few of you probably have commented on it, and a few of you have probably been too polite to comment on it. But we're ready. She's ready for a new coat of paint and some interior work.
I think the nature of what we do, of just constantly moving every week and living in a very small space, has meant that we have to put off aesthetics to some degree. But now we're sort of being forced into stopping. So Marule gets a bit of a birthday. Someone was there asking about butyl tape in Bunnings. Go and check out where their roof guttering and flashing is.
Yeah. It's got two rhinos locked together.
Pascale's talking about the label, not the tape.
Label.
So go and check out the roof flashing, but they've generally got it. But look online, good marine chandlers should be able to sort you out butyl tape. Someone was asking if I'm willing to do transatlantic deliveries. I'm sort of overdoing deliveries. I've done a few of them. It's not really my
Just inheriting problems from other
You never know
boats.
what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So
hi everyone. Thank you for all your hellos. I guess we'll just get stuck into the questions.
What's the top 5 projects for the refit? At the moment, I've ripped out all the wiring.
Yep.
And then I also took a crowbar while Pascale clapped in the background and ripped out all the cabinetry. So we've got like a sort of a shell going on, because some of it looked a little bit like a 1970s caravan, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's quite practical and strong, but we'd like it just a little bit more...
just nicer.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, aesthetically pleasing. So, yeah. How did our boat get its name? We don't really know. It was just named Marul when it was made.
Yeah, I think it was launched as Marul, which is a town in New South Wales. I was told that it was Aboriginal for sweet water, but subsequently I found out it's actually just the word for the clay that they make pipes from. So our friend Alan in Townsville was starting to call the boat bong,
the bong.
for a while. I think it got changed to freelance for a little while and then back to Marul, because under the name of Marul, she competed in the inaugural Trans-Tasman, which is a race from...
she did the inaugural one.
Inaugural. You can only do it once. So she went from New Zealand to Australia. She was the only Australian entry, and she got dismasted on her second attempt in 1974. So I think keeping the name is probably it's a nice thing to do. She's got history. She's
got a bit of legacy now.
Yeah. I didn't really say top 5 projects, but that's sort of what
wiring,
electrical cabinetry. I'd love to put an inner solent stay in.
Something, sail plan, like a third reef in the main sail.
We'll see.
That's definitely important. So that's 3.
The boom, even though our boom has been shock tested and it's super strong, just for appearance's sake, we might actually put another boom.
Yes. So that's number 4. And then there's heaps of jobs, but what's number 5?
I don't know. We'll just make it up. You'll have to wait for the videos. I'm giving nothing away.
Yeah.
If we had a bigger boat, would we sail further away? We were set out to specifically see Australia, and what we wanted to inspire people to do, particularly in Australia, is just to show what world-class cruising we have here. I've already sailed, like I haven't done the North Atlantic and I haven't sailed the Pacific yet, but I've done a lot of overseas sailing around the world, and motorboats and stuff like that. So Pascale hasn't cruised around on a boat yet overseas, but what we've got here is pretty special, and we want to make sure that we've done a thorough job of convincing Australians of that argument and inviting people from other parts of the world to come and check it out.
Yeah.
So we're not really in a hurry to leave Australia yet. Crossing oceans would be a nice holiday. I mean, a lot of shallow water and coastal cruising is you've got to dodge shipping, rocks, and all the rest of it, where it's quite a nice holiday to cross an ocean where you can just point and go. And you just sort of get into that rhythm for 2 weeks, and you don't have to worry about anything.
I'm nodding, but I've never done it before, so I don't really know.
Well, when we went out to Ashmore Reef, once we cleared the reef, we just kicked back. It was 1,000 meters of water. Yeah. You just have nothing to worry about. You just keep a watch for boats, and that's it. So,
yes, we've traded the ale for coffee, Jeff. How's it going with the reefing? Has it been easy to take out and put in reefs single-handed? Yes, very much so.
Definitely. We some people asked about why we don't have lazy jacks. And Marul started off with lazy jacks, but the execution of them wasn't. They were more of a headache than what
If you don't know what lazy jacks are, they're lines that run down either side of the boom up to the top of the mast. Well, not really. Somewhere
up to the spreaders, and they catch the sail when you drop it. That's their only job.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the time, they're just a total pain. So.
Yeah, they were just annoying us. The sail was getting caught on it when we were hoisting the mainsail, so we pulled them off. They weren't designed, probably like you say, as they could have been.
And look at that, Andreas, he's hot onto it. He's pointed out that no, our boat's not Australian registered. It's only state registered. So we have to stay in Australian waters on Marul. Marul, when I got her, was particularly, I just wanted to explore Northern Australia and really get into the nitty gritty of it and get that amazing fishing that you guys have probably watched, and into some of the places where there's just Aboriginal people just hanging out. There's not many white fellas, and it's just amazing. To get just a little boat I wanted to be able to, because I knew that cyclones would catch up to us. We weren't going to, there was nowhere safe to run except Mangrove Creek, so we needed a boat that would fit up there, and I didn't have to worry about getting a few dings and scratches. She's incredibly tough, so she's done pretty well. We're starting to feel a little bit cramped in Marul now when it's cold, because we don't have heater on her. She's only 30 foot. And it's not a core deck. There's no insulation, so she does get a bit damp.
She has been getting condensation,
Yeah. Because some people are like, you guys are complaining about 10-degree weather, but we don't have any heater.
Heating.
Like at the moment, we're just like,
it's amazing.
We're comfortable. We've got a wood fire and everything like that, but 10 degrees
We're
is
loving the cold weather now, but if you're on a tiny boat with no heating, it's like really hard.
Especially if you dive in the water for a living too.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting your food for diving.
Getting fit, yeah. And we're like pretty positive people, but we were finding it hard. Like we were definitely less positive than what we normally are, because we were just like trying to stay warm all the time. So, yeah.
Are you tired, eat fish? Nope. I love it. So how do you guys bathe on such a small boat?
Oh, wait, hang on, Georgie is a human. George is a human. What fabrics do you prefer from clothing to bedding? For bedding, we prefer 100% cotton, and clothing, cotton and
wool.
Merino wool. Merino wool's been really great in because it's thin, but
it doesn't
keeps
smell.
You warm, and it doesn't smell. Like we can wear we're both wearing icebreakers. We're not sponsored by Icebreaker, but you can wear them for a long time without them smelling, so you don't need to do heaps of laundry. Yeah.
And if you're talking about dodges, anything outside fabric, spend the money and get Sunbrella. All right, which is it's a
anything else will just deteriorate in the.
Yeah, it's a non-natural canvas. Sunbrella. Any other type of thing will fade and deteriorate, but it's totally worth spending the money. When you first look at it per square meter, you go, oh, but when it's still got its colour 10 years later and it's still shedding water, you'll have forgotten the price by then. So.
Yeah.
So how do we bathe on such a small boat? So we heat up water oftentimes in a pot on the stove, and then we wash with it.
Sponge bath,
So normally every day, every now and then when we're making lots of water, we've got plenty of methylated spirits, alcohol for our stove. I'll let Pascale have a massive pot of water. She can wash her hair and have a party. So.
Yeah, but it's still kind of cold because I got to do it outside in the cockpit. So it's a quick affair.
Yeah.
How do we stay warm in Marul? Well,
cuddles.
Yeah, hot water bottles, cuddles. We've jumped down, but I want to go back to where we are. Yes, we found someone sent us some parts for our stove, which is really great. So we're going to be getting them in the mail. We'll see if they fit and everything, and then we'll get back to you on that, because we were looking for parts for our methylated spirit stove. That's Christine.
Every now and then people will ask to send us stuff because you're such generous folks, and we often have to refuse. And please don't take it badly if that's ever been the case. It's just that on a 30-footer, we have reached the absolute maximum limit of stuff that we can carry, and even to the point like we have to make space if we want to bring anything else on. So some people, they're such nice, generous natures. They want to send us things, and we have to refuse. So we don't, take that how you will. We just don't have the space for it. So
what's your spinning reel, rod and line patrolling? Oh, are you looking at something else?
Being
scared at sea.
Ever felt scared or out of your depth on the sea? No, not really. I felt I didn't have Pascale with me when I was sailing down the west coast from Exmouth back to Perth, because my mum was having a birthday and I wanted to get there for her. So I was on a bit of a time limit, and I was forced to go out into, it was probably about a 3 metre sea on a 3 metre swell. It was 6 metre conditions right on the nose, and I had to spend ages going down there, and the Dodger got wiped off, and there was water coming in, the fridge got destroyed, and it was sloshing around. It was really rough out there, and I was 60 miles offshore for safety. And also because you're 3 days going, so when you're solo, you can only sleep for 20-minute grabs, because the fast boats on the west coast can get from under the horizon onto your position. So I was a bit pensive about that. But more than anything, I was just like, what am I doing out here? And you sort of doubt yourself a bit. But then, sailed into a mega pod of dolphins, and they popped out, and there was there's 1,000 dolphins everywhere, and they were tail walking and doing backflips and stuff, and the bad mood evaporates. So Pascale's been a little bit scared sometimes. Usually when we've got the wind behind us. And
it's just a downwind sailing. I can't really, it's harder for me to control a boat and bring it up into the wind or pull, just reduce sail area. I just don't feel like I'm in control of the boat. Whereas in all the other points of sail, I can, I feel like I can manage. But when we're wing on wing, I have to really, I get freaked out.
Yeah.
I just panic.
I'm just going to repeat something I said in reply to a comment the other day. Is just the good thing about having experience at sea, 20 years commercial experience. The benefit of that experience is you know where your limits of your experience are. So that goes a long way for keeping you in your depth. It's like if you are going beyond what you think your experience level is, if you've got the experience to know and you don't have a bad case of Dunning-Kruger syndrome, you might be like, oh, I'm getting out of my comfort zone, but you know your fallback position. So you can make little, like being a little kid, leaving your mum's apron straps, you can make little forays into unknown ground and progressively challenge yourself to get better. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to admit your weaknesses and, glory in your strengths. I don't want to be negative about it. So no, we're sometimes Pascale is scared, but normally we work well together.
But I think it's interesting how you said the Dunning-Kruger thing, because when I first started sailing with you, I was definitely less scared. Because I didn't realize how things can go wrong. I didn't know much about sailing.
If someone's wondering what Dunning-Kruger syndrome is, it's pretty prevalent. It's like when you're so incompetent that you just don't know what you don't know. And there's a lot of people that are sort of like that. But I am in some areas, I'm sure.
If given the choice, which small diesel would you pick? Would it be a Yanmar again?
I like that little Yanmar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good engines at the moment based around a Kubota block, and I think they're all pretty good. Modern diesel engines, as long as they're mechanical injection, I like them. There's lots of other ones that use sort of piezo injectors and common rail and all the rest of it, but I'm a little bit old-fashioned in just sticking to what I understand, and I'll sacrifice some performance for being able to understand when things go bad, which is why we're on Marul. She's a slow old girl, but she's tough, and I understand what's going on.
Good morning, John. He's asked, are we ready for that big boat? I think we just got to make do with the boat that we have at the moment and make her beautiful, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Having with regards to boats, I sort of go with the smallest boat that will do what you want rather than the biggest boat you could afford. I could afford a much bigger boat than Marul when I bought her, but I'd preferred to just sort of not put all that money into it, just so I didn't have to insure it. I didn't know whether I'd like it. And we're trying to point out to people that sailing doesn't have to be just like sell your house, sell everything, liquidate everything, and turn it into some super duper top of the range $250,000 yacht. You can have really great adventures in like a $5,000 trailer sailor and everything up and in between. It can be just a part that you just take a little section out of your life and just have a little furlough, just go and check it out and then come back, have a career and a family, whatever. Or spend the rest of your life sailing around to your heart's content.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just a one-way.
Or like everything in, all in.
It doesn't have to be all in. It can be. But don't get stuck in that mindset of like, I've got to get this massive boat. I have to circumnavigate the world. And that's why we're sailing, like gunk-holing around Australia and just showing that you can have an amazing time in your own country, in your own backyard. Obviously, there's probably some places that don't have an ocean. It might not be possible. But
Emika's asked whether we're going to change the kitchen. I don't.
No.
I don't. I mean, no. We'll repaint it and make it look nicer, but the galley it'll be the same stove and the same arrangement. There's not really anything we can do to change it. Like, we're kind of limited by space.
We'll upgrade some of the cupboard doors and some of the storage, but
new paint. And
I think the designer got it right
for
Marul. So
yeah, it's actually, she's pretty well laid out for a very small, very narrow beamed boat. Like, we've actually got a fair bit of living space for how big she is. Like, we can get around one another. Like you can sit at the table and one person can be cooking and you don't feel like in each other's way, which is pretty amazing for how narrow she is.
Yep.
She's only 2.4 meters, right?
2.4 meters wide.
Yeah.
With regards to that, having a tight spaces in boats, it's a feature, not a bug. When you're in a seaway, having big open expanses where you can build up momentum and crash into things is bad. It's very traditional that you'll have tight spaces in the galley where you can lock yourself in and cook, and it's a lot safer if you're lifting a hot pan of water to have. You're braced, you're good. You're not going to all of a sudden, and 3 points of contact. Those can be your 2 feet on the ground and your bum resting up against something. It doesn't have to be your hand, but you need to be braced in a boat. So I've seen some boats where the design looks very airy and it looks wonderful, and I'm sure it is at a marina, but in a big seaway, if you at any point, if you're trying to make your way through a boat and you can't let go of something, but you've already got something else in your hand.
Yeah.
Wow, that can be real trouble.
Yeah, so hopefully that sort of answered your question too, David. What's it like living in a space where we're so close to one another? We're okay with it. Like, I guess it would bring you closer together if you don't spend as much time with someone.
Yep.
Make or break deal.
I've been on quite enormous fishing boats, and there's one guy on there who's just a nightmare, and he just makes the boat seem so small for everyone else. And of course, as soon as you get back to port, generally everyone will bully them off, which is great.
Yes, we are going to do a refit series of everything. A few people have asked that question. We're going to do a refit series. We're filming. We haven't filmed that much of the sanding and everything because come on.
With regards to refit videos, like we don't just want to film everything just to make content.
Yeah.
But if we do something that I think that we can pass on a learning experience, like anything that we do, we try and pass on our knowledge rather than just make videos for video's sake. So don't worry, we're not going to have. I'm not a very good painter because I hate it. So there's not a lot I can pass on to you about painting, and we sort of skim over that. But there might be a few other things where I think that, like for up and coming boaties, they might learn something. People do painting and stuff like that better than I do. We're not a refit channel. I think there is refit channels.
Yes, there's plenty of refit channels.
We're a sailing channel.
But we can have a little segue of refit for 4 or 5 episodes.
Definitely.
Are you going to install a second floor stay to make it a cutter?
Yeah, I was thinking about putting a solent stay in. So that's just a removable inner stay.
Oh, it's still after the solent stay. Yeah, David, sorry. He was up. Sorry, continue.
Lost my train of thought.
Sorry, yeah. So someone asked if you were going to make a cutter rig and you said no, you was going to put a solent stay in.
Yeah, I don't want to have to put running backstays and things like that. But my level of expertise on sail making and stuff like that is low. So I really need to talk to a sail maker, and I want to get a second opinion from a professional sailing rigger. I'm a rigger, but industrial, not sailboat. So I can help you with a 40-ton lift, but the best options for rigging a sailboat, maybe not.
Marule's 4-ton?
She's a 4-tonner.
4-ton.
She's got 1.8 ton of ballast.
Yeah. Okay. I have got a new wetsuit coming because a lovely fan has a friend that makes commercial dive wetsuits, and they are sending us some from America, which is really amazing. So we'll be able to tell you all about them when we get them, but we haven't got them yet. So, and we haven't dove in them yet, but yeah, that was really great. So yes, I am getting a new wetsuit, which is really cool because the one that I've got, I've sewed up all the holes, but now the hemming, the lining's coming apart. So yeah, it was time for a new wetsuit.
Install an inverter and get the expensive appliances and lights. We've got an inverter. It's a 1500 watt.
We need it to run our computers.
We run the computer, and people say, why don't you just get DC to DC for the computer, but it can't handle the amperage. None of them on the market. It would have to be a custom job. But we went and had a look at the LEDs and stuff like that, and the little transformer the little step down just pulls everything down to 12 volt anyway. So we can, with regards to lights, we've seen some cheap lighting options just from the home place, but I'll just rewire them into a 12 volt and get rid of the converter.
What's a bannock?
Bannock's a type of bread, right?
Oh, yeah, Bob's Bren guy. Someone sent us a recipe for bannock a while back, but because we don't really carry much flour on board, we haven't made it. But we might try it while we're here. Well, we're and we don't have an oven, so maybe you can make bannock on a fry pan. I don't know.
Sail to Spear wants us to come back to the Whitsundays there.
Oh, hey mate.
we were saying when we got to the guys at down in Sydney, the Seawind, Brett, the Seawind guys, we were saying that we met you and you're getting around in one of the first Seawinds.
Yeah.
Junk rig yacht. Any thoughts? They look
look cool.
They look pretty intriguing, and I think being able to reef immediately when you need to would be great. I don't know about their windward performance. I don't think it's for me, but I reckon they've got some advantages. If you talk to an owner of a junk rig, they'll usually talk your ear off that they're amazing. That makes me a bit suspicious. Because sometimes it sounds like they're trying to convince themselves, but I think there's a lot to recommend them. And we've got a friend here who has one. He absolutely loves it. So I've never sailed on one, so I can't really tread down that path. So
I'm just pouring tea.
We've got a few Kiwis, and they're saying, when you're coming over?
Yeah, I know. That happened last night too.
We'd love to come to New Zealand. We want to come and visit Smokehouse Bay and pop a fish in the smoker there. And
Bay of Isles, is that near Smokehouse Bay? Or
yeah, I think it's up in the North Island. Yeah. I've been twice to New Zealand. 3 times to New Zealand, a couple of times tramping, kayaking, and once I came for a wedding where we caught all wild food. So I love New Zealand. I'd love to come back, but yeah, we've got to see Australia first.
I see that Tim Brown's here. He said, are you going to take me out afterwards to show off my good looks? We can't go out, so it's still quite strict isolation in Tasmania. We can go out shopping.
I don't think we've had an answer about our dinosaur taming yet either.
Oh yeah, you need to tell us whether we can tame a raptor.
Go to Patron and see that comment we left you, Tim.
Yeah. So the t-shirts, we'll put them on sale again. A few people asked us last night, but we'll just wait a little bit, I think, until the COVID thing's kind of rolling over with the t-shirt sales. We don't really feel like promoting the sale of our t-shirts right now, so we'll just leave it. For now.
We didn't get all the way around Tassie. We got round to Port Davey on the bottom of the west coast, and then we decided to just double back. We were having we were getting wave after wave of sort of lows coming through. We wanted to come back and just get a little bit more information. And just as we were leaving to go to the West Coast, we knew that there was shutdowns. And I'd been sort of monitoring what was going on since late December. So as we were going, I knew that there was going to be some inconvenience. But when we came back, we decided that we wanted to be in a place where we could contact our family if we needed to. Everyone can understand that, we want to make sure that everyone who we care about is going well. And then they shut all the national parks. So yeah, the whole of Western Tassie is basically a national park. So we're here for winter, and I don't really feel like doing the west coast of Tassie through winter. I reckon it'd be pretty radical.
There's Tassie people that really love it, but they've got cozy boats. They've got,
nice big heaters.
Boats with big heaters. So. Does Troy ever cook for me? Yes, he's been cooking a bit more now.
You should see me in the galley. I don't want to put Pascale to shame. No, every now and then I'll burn something. How do you find your music? Pascale scours it. There's quite a bit of free music there. And if anyone really likes our music and you're into Spotify, if you look in the description, there's a link, and you can find all of our music that Pascale keeps updated. Well, mostly updated.
Yeah, I probably need to update it for the last couple of months. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of songs on there. I think there's more than 150 songs or 100 songs on there. So yeah, not all of the songs, just the ones that are kind of easy to listen to and you could put on in the background.
Yep.
So that's on Spotify. We get contacted by artists and other people, but we also use pretty heavily Epidemic Sound, which is like a free music library with thousands and thousands of songs and sound effects. It's really great. So if you're into filmmaking and you want to get started, I'd recommend just grabbing a subscription to Epidemic Sound. It's just easy and you don't get any copyright claims with that. So we've answered that question a lot. I almost feel like I should just write an article on our website about it because people ask us all the time that question.
Pascale mentioned the website. If you don't know, there is freerangesailing.com and you can go check it out. I've written a little bit. We didn't know it's sort of it is quite a bit of work to get it done. So it's still just a fledgling website at the moment. We do hope to sort of develop it a bit, but just hang in there. But at the moment, there's something to see, and you can get a copy of Pascale's free provisioning guide, 40 pages.
40
pages
there's a 40-page provisioning guide. I've actually put the link in the description of the video. Lots of people asking when my cookbook's coming out, which is in the process of being written, and the provisioning guide's kind of pulled together some recipes from the cookbook, and also it's going to be a chapter of the cookbook, but it's a bit more elaborated. So yeah, if you are interested in provisioning your home and just being a little bit more organized about what you have and being a bit more food secure, definitely worth checking it out. I've put the link in the description of the video, so you can just head down there right now. You can fill it out while you're listening to us chat, and you'll get a download link for the provisioning guide. And I've been getting some really great feedback from people, so it's been really rewarding. So I hope you enjoy it.
Really quickly, what radios do you recommend for an HF radio like shortwave? The Texan PL600 that we use is great. TECSUN PL600. Are you increasing solar or battery capacity? No, we're not. We do okay. Solar, we don't have any more room for, and battery capacity, if we can't add any more solar, there's no point in having any more capacity.
Tell us about the snakes. We've seen a few tiger snakes here in Tassie.
Yeah.
Definitely probably seen the most amount of snakes in this sort of area. When you when you think of square miles, like we've probably seen the most here in Tassie.
I think with the cooler temperatures, they're less likely to get out of your way. So we've had a chance to see a few more of them.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, we still tramp heavily and give them a chance to feel our presence through their bellies and slither away. So we don't see that many of them. Tim forgot all about it. Where are we on your list of priorities?
This is an important question.
It is. Have you gone all the way around Australia? No. We're still making the videos.
Yeah.
Are there pirates in Australia? Only on land. Full keel or a cat? We can't tell you what to get. It's
different.
Our preference is a full keel. And we went into it a little bit last night, but the reason that we like full keel is they're less vulnerable to damage in a grounding. Long lines that have been lost and floating around.
Cray pots. There's lots of cray pots in Australia.
Cray pots. When I also got it, when I got Marul, I was very conscious that up in northern Australia you have logs floating out of New Guinea, and at night time pounding into one of those,
hitting a shipping container in a cat, you'd be finished.
But listen, we have some friends that are zooming around in a super fast Lightwave 45, which is lightly built. It's
a really amazing boat.
But they are really great mariners and they can handle it, and they're very, very happy with their catamaran. So we never tell people what to do. People tell us what to do. And the reason being is we just don't know your strengths, weaknesses, preferences. Everyone's sort of different, So.
Oh, none of the animals in Tasmania are trying to kill or eat us. Comes up back. There's just tiger snakes, but they're not really. Even the white pointers have
not lived up to their reputation. They haven't been around.
A few people have asked us about a dog or a cat. I've noticed on the feed. It's not really easy in Australia because we love going to remote areas, and most of those places are national parks. So you're not allowed to take dogs or cats ashore. Maybe a cat because you could just leave it on the boat, but we just haven't really thought about it in Marul because she's so small.
If there's any place for a cold-blooded little stone killer, it's on a boat. So a cat would be really great for that because anything smaller than a person they normally try and get a hold of. I miss having a dog. I'm a real dog lover. And I love to have a well-trained dog. It's like an extension of you. It's like having another arm, which I'm missing at the moment. But I don't think it's fair to the dog to have them on a 30-footer, like Pascale said. Lots of national parks in Australia. Yeah. And we support national parks. They do great things. So we don't want to break the law by taking a dog into a national park. We think those laws are good. We're not promoters of a nanny state by any means.
St. Bernard would be perfect for Marul.
Oh, wouldn't it? We could just lounge on it.
Yeah, it'd be our sofa.
We'll just get rid of the bed.
Troy, would I be able to cross the Bass Strait in my Hobie Adventure Island sailing kayak? Is he talking about his Seawind boat or sail to spear?
Would I be able to cross Bass Strait in my Hobie Adventure Island sailing kayak? I guess. You're a pretty robust guy.
Well, you could jump between the islands. People kayak across the Bass Strait. and they stay on the islands
People
camping.
people paddle
Yeah.
kayak
Yeah.
across. So if you've got a sail, you're going even faster.
Mm.
If you check out our friend Kesey,
I'm trying to think what his. I think
handle
he's Casey Gilbertson. I don't
know.
Anyway, a friend of my brother's actually, he sailed from Sydney to the Gold Coast in his Hobie Cat.
He got rolled by a few waves.
He got rolled a few times because he'd go ashore and camp, and then he'd have to get out through the sets of waves each day to go, well, whenever he left to go sailing. So he got rolled a couple of times. So something to be aware of, I suppose.
A mongoose.
Tim Brown, they're just tiger snakes.
I'm not taking my dog with me. Oh, my heart goes out to you to leave a dog behind. Chihuahua, no.
It's been done, but people have disappeared doing the Bass Strait. I guess we've got good weather now, so you could plan it. But you might be holed up on an island if you got caught out in a weather system. Anyway.
Would we consider teaching a sailing class, rules of the road, that kind of thing? Not really. There's just people that are already doing an amazing job. We'll just stick to our niche. A big part of my former career, when I was commercial marine, was teaching deckhands and stuff to do things. But I don't know how well my teaching method would transfer to people that aren't getting paid to put up with my nonsense. So.
Oh, it's Ben and Mel, our Scottish friends.
Oh yeah, how's the van?
Are you guys still in your van in Tassie?
When the lockdown sort of ends, you'll have to come and see us.
Oh, they're enjoying the rain and condensation in their van too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can imagine.
Did you fix the stove? We're getting there on the stove. We're waiting on some parts.
Yeah.
A few people have commented about your shirt, but someone was asking where your other shirt was. Someone was disappointed. I saw him in the feed before.
That was
Paisley
Jeff.
shirt.
He was wondering where my Paisley shirt was.
No, it was someone else.
Oh, another person.
Yeah, someone said, well, you haven't got it on. I'm disappointed you're not wearing it this time because you got prompted last night.
I sent it back to the Malaysian president. He wanted it.
If you sail into the magnetic South Pole, you can disappear into it and nothing,
a small stay sail. So some people wondering what's a solent stay, and that's a inner stay that has a mechanism that you can remove it and tension the inner stay. So yeah, we're definitely thinking about it. I want to talk to one of the riggers here in Tassie about our options on that one.
Yeah. Al's just asked us about reefing, but we just already mentioned it earlier. It's easier to do things single-handed now with everything at the mast.
Yeah. It has made life a lot easier, particularly if I've got Pascale, but still, if you've got some sort of automatic steering, you can set that, go forward, and do all the reefing. Some people have very successfully, you can make it so you can reef from the cockpit. A lot of the time, you still have to go forward and just check things out anyway. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but for us, it's worked out really well. Before anyone gets on the comments and say, you can completely do it from the cockpit, I know. I just don't want to have all that complexity. So
there hasn't really been in COVID rules for us to do refit because you're allowed to do essential maintenance on your boat.
Where we are at the moment, there hasn't been anything like that. So
there hasn't really been any new cases in Tassie apart from there was a small outbreak up in the northwest, but that's been managed. I think they've stopped community spread. They know everyone that's contracted the virus. So things have been pretty mellow in Tasmania compared to other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the videos, do you have a theme in mind or do you try to find it in the editing? Sometimes as we're going along, like we'll see something really great and we'll just film it and we'll know that it'll be useful later on. And then, well, you're editing, so you sort of put that story together, don't you? So.
Yeah, like it's good not to. It's nice when we're a little bit ahead, and so you don't have to rush the editing. So you look at all the footage, and then you think about what angle. And if you watch it, if you're making a video over a few days, you can get a feel of what you were feeling back then, and then you just try and construct the video based on what you're feeling back then. But sometimes we'll actually do a video on a specific topic.
We're not making up the story because we've lived it.
Yeah.
we're literally just telling you how our life went in that particular week, and we're trying. What we do just skip the boring parts, because everyone does have some boring parts. But it's been amazing that we've been able to make, for 2 years now, videos, and each week we've done something sufficiently interesting that up to 80,000 of you would want to watch it.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. It's one of the intangibles.
People have been asking about my previous job in the law. I was a business lawyer, so I did commercial advisory work. So a lot of property related matters, and a little bit of estates matters. So wills and things like that. So yeah. Business advisory, contract law, that sort of stuff. So not anything litigious. I'm not really a litigious person.
She's not very spiteful.
No.
Make a very lawyer at all.
Yeah. The internet is the hardest thing in the world on a cruising yacht. It can be hard, but now that there's such good 4G networks, the phone networks are just so good that we're not too bad for it. Obviously, when you're in the middle of nowhere, like when we're on the west coast of Tassie, you don't get any reception. You're not going to have any signal anywhere. So,
yeah,
which we love. It's really great to have like 3 or 4 weeks without any internet.
Yeah, the American Norwest. Yeah, we'd love to go there. We just have to see how things pan out. We also have to see if it's financially viable. The videos are being supported, and we're very grateful. But I don't know if we have the money to necessarily upgrade to a massive boat and keep it running. As you get bigger, obviously costs increase. Here in Australia, we can if things didn't pan out, we could quite easily get work legally. Whereas once we go overseas, we can't take. Well, we wouldn't want to take jobs from the local population in any case, but it's probably we couldn't just work unless it was illegal. We try not to break any laws, so it really does come down to a question of money on that one. So at the moment in Australia, we can just get around quite modestly, but if push came to shove, we could work. So it's something we'd like to do. We have to balance it very carefully. Hello,
patron Daniel. He's asking us about going to the American Northwest. Do we still have that plan?
Oh, that's what I was just talking about.
Sorry. It's hard for me to be listening to Troy and hearing what he's talking about and then read through the comments at the same time.
The short one is it's hard to listen to Troy, but she does okay.
That's not true. You're the one that doesn't listen to me.
Oh. Santa Cruz, California.
Would we consider a boat swap?
A boat swap? I don't know. Would you consider a boat swap? Maybe you better wait till the end of the refit. If we make it to Oregon, there's an open invite to a barbecue. You know, we have so many lovely fans over in the States and in Canada, and a few down in South America as well. We'd love to come over and see you all.
Why do we have Super Chat disabled? I was wondering why we didn't have Super Chat. I don't know. It must be a setting. Oh.
Every distinct Doga, everybody comes here and works illegally. We don't want to support
I think an ad just got inserted. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry everyone.
Just
leave it alone.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No ads.
Trying to enable Super Chat, that's all. Anyway, I thought it was weird that no one was popping up on the top, but anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Never mind.
If you could see into the future, where do you see yourselves in 10 years? That is impossible to answer. But when we left Perth, we had an idea that we wanted to make these videos and share it, and we just didn't have any idea. And we understood that we'd be very niche because we're in just a little boat. And, you know, it's not a party boat. There's not like lots of babes in bikinis and stuff like that. So we always knew it was going to be a fairly small audience. And we just couldn't have predicted how well it's taken off, actually. So, before I met Pascale, my life was completely different. It was tragic.
Sad. That's not true.
So
You weren't eating as delicious of food as you are now.
that's right.
If you did want to send us a little something, because it's super chats disabled, we have got links to PayPal in our description of our video. So, yeah, sorry that feature's not enabled at the moment.
Yeah, we just didn't do it. Got one babe in a bikini. Maybe I should just wear a bikini a little bit more.
I think you should,
I think
yeah.
we'd attract the wrong audience. So.
What are the types of fishing rod you use and where did you purchase them?
I said in the first chat, rather than just emulate what we use, if you're whatever area you're in, if you want to know what the best fishing gear is, go check out the hard-working guys that take out charter fishing guests, because the stuff that they use for your area will be the parts will be freely available. They'll be low expense, and they'll be really hardy because they have to put up with just constant use with people that don't necessarily know a lot about what they're doing. So a lot of them will be running Shimano gear and stuff, but I can't recommend highly enough going to the people that, whatever you're doing, find someone that's doing it for a living successfully and feeding their family by doing that, and they will know exactly all the information that you want. Buy them a beer, have a chat.
Trying to tube top. How many models in the Clansman range?
How many models? There's only
There's
only the Clansman 30. Like there's no Clansman range, but those
they had modifications to the deck layout, cockpit layout.
Yeah, the people responsible for it went on to make other boats for sure, but there's only the Clansman 30. If you're in Europe, then the Elizabethan 29 is probably the closest thing, and that's pretty much what the plans for a Clansman were lifted from. And if you're in the States, the Allberg 30 is basically a Clansman. So in Australia, Clansman. Over in the Americas,
Allberg 30.
Allberg 30, and the Allberg 37 just looks like a big marul. If you're not ready for a tight, cramped little boat, an Allberg 30 can be had for a pretty reasonable money over there, but they're still narrow.
Actually, You can see an Allberg 30 because we've got a couple of James and Camille who are on a Triteria. But no, their boat's called Triteria, but it's an Allberg 30. They've got a YouTube channel, so you'd be able to see what an Allberg 30 looks like.
What's their YouTube channel called?
I don't know, because I keep in touch with everyone. We don't really watch much sailing on YouTube, but I keep in touch with everyone on Instagram. So James is James the Sailor Man on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Camille is Camille's.
So it's pretty funny.
But yeah, so I think if you just put James the Sailor Man on Instagram, then you'd find the link to SV Triteria is their boat. So
yeah.
Someone else would have watched them for sure. Someone else on there. Can you put a comment on the?
Yeah, if someone knows the James the Sailor Man, if you want to get,
they got lots of
Allberg.
tattoos, but they're lovely people. She loves beer, so yeah, they seem cool.
They seem super.
Everyone
cool.
is googling her Allberg 30. Yeah, but there's also Elizabethan 29 in the UK, right?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that you said
She's
that.
not listening again. How's the dinghy holding up? It's really great. So that dinghy, it's 7 years now, and I treat it like I am still commercial fishing. Like that thing has been beaten up. It's just starting to leak a bit now. And what we think it was like all through the north, we had like little Aboriginal kids loving to play in it, and they'd build sandcastles. And I think that sand actually works down into the cracks. So it'll leak for a while, and then the sand must work its way out, and it stops leaking. And so, but it's for what we've done to that thing, it's still incredible. So it's a tough boat.
John's wondering if we ever worry about parasites in fish, but saltwater fish parasites, you can't really.
They're not an issue. Freshwater fish, that is a totally different story. Those parasites will get you. But no, not really. We don't have to worry too much about it. Down here in Tassie, we have had to just be aware that there's shellfish poisoning, like from algae blooms and things like that, and you get that also in the Pacific Northwest, Canada, and places like that. So, no parasites, no. Sometimes coral trout had these worms in them.
Yeah, it's a bit
catfish
weird.
Catfish.
Had a big. Oh, we called it that catfish, and it had a big stringy, elasticy worm. Anyway,
what's the length of your foul boat? I think he means folding boat. She's a 3.2 meter.
14 foot, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We got the length. You know why I got that length boat? Because that is the length of the crocodiles and the Kimberleys that cause all the trouble. The really big ones can still just vaguely remember that humans were trouble, and the little ones aren't big enough to wrestle you into the water. But those 3-meter crocs, they will wreck your day, as in like kill you. So
yeah, so actually everything about our folding boat is still relevant from that video that we filmed a year and a half ago in Townsville. So it's called Potter Boat, the ultimate adventure dinghy. So if you want to find everything you want to know about the Potter Boat, then our experiences with it is in that video. So.
Someone said James the Sailor is
cool.
What you're looking for.
Okay, so you guys will be able to find him. See much coral bleaching. We saw some coral bleaching in where warm water had moved around.
Between Lizard Island
Island,
down to Innisfail.
Yeah.
There was a big puddle of warm water that moved out the Pacific and just dumped and sat there. So
it wasn't everywhere. It was just in one spot, really, the bleaching.
It was extensive, but it wasn't. We came back and everyone's like 95% of the reef's dead. And we were like,
how's that possible?
So,
didn't really work. Watch out for drop bears. Ever been stung by a box jelly? I haven't. Have you?
Box jelly, no.
Just a blue ring octopus. Not blue ring octopus, a blue bottle.
Yeah.
A bit slow this morning. Can I have some more tea?
You certainly can have more tea. If frozen for several months, parasites will die. I reckon they would too. The fire behind you needs a bit of wood. We're just leaving it at the moment. We just need to take the sting out of the air.
Thanks, David, for becoming a patron.
Oh.
Said since we haven't got super chat on, he's become a patron. So that's really awesome. Thanks, guys. And we had 4 people jump on board after our chat last night. So it's really, really great to,
When everything was sort of going to hell, I was saying to Pascale,
that's it.
I expect quite a few people will be leaving because
hard times
hard times.
Jobs
but you've actually surprised us by we actually had a jump in patrons.
Yeah.
And so we feel a little bit like an essential service.
Yeah.
So we're really touched. So thanks everyone that's continued to support us through. We must say that if you're feeling any sort of pinch, like get rid of us.
Yeah.
We'll still be here making the videos. You can always come back. Don't feel compelled to give us money if you've got people depending on you. When are you crossing over to Africa? We don't even know when we're crossing back to the mainland Australia yet. So it's I'd love to go back to South Africa. I've been there a couple of times now. Pascale's never been.
Ryan asked us to put another log on the fire. It's probably a good idea.
All right, we'll do that.
The fire went out last night. So.
The plans on a West Coast Tassie tour. That was a tough one. They closed all the national parks on us, so we sort of cancelled West Coast Tassie, and now winter's coming, so we'll be doing a bit more of an extended refit. Pascale would like she deserves a nicer, cleaner interior in the boat, that's for sure, and I deserve to have better wiring. So.
Did you want a cup of tea too?
I'd love a cup of tea. That's not even a question. Hi, all you guys from Florida, from all over the States, everyone from New Zealand sending us messages, everyone from all over. You're just all so wonderful. Yeah, okay. We don't watch many sailing channels. I mentioned in last night's chat that I've been actually watching a few gardening channels.
Yes.
I've been missing having a garden and chooks. We don't watch many sailing channels, but yeah, I guess there are a few out there getting around on small boats, and it's like anyone that's considering going sailing, don't think that you have to get a big boat. You can always sort of get a little one, see if you like it, and then work your way up. You never know. Things change so quick.
Well, I've opened it so much. It's like, we're on fire.
Is everyone happy now with the fire? Yeah, that's it.
Is it possible to grow some greens on Marul? We grow sprouts, which we've probably told you about a few times now.
And Pascale's provisioning book will have lots of it.
So if you want to know a bit more about that, about sprouts and growing greens on board. Like we were growing some cut herbs lately in Tassie because the weather's been right, and yeah, they've just it's been the right temperatures and the right humidity to grow just having cuttings.
Yep.
And scallions and green onions, spring onions. We've been growing them. I've actually got some growing at the moment. I'll show you.
Someone asked me if I was going to write a book on maintenance, and I don't think I could do a better job than Don Casey and who's my guy, Nigel Calder, have done. They've pretty much filled that niche up by being such great authors.
So you can grow spring onions like this. These are all new shoots. These ones here are all new. So you can just put them in it like a little bit of water like that, and you get new green shoots. So that's a really cool thing for a tiny boat, because you just change the water every like 3 or 4 days, and then you keep cutting away. You just cut away the outer leaves, and then the new ones will come up through the middle.
Yep. I like the idea of sailing, but I think a trawler is more my style. You can have whatever you're wanting to pay for, and you get that money with your non-refundable time. So that's what we sort of tell people. The biggest conditions, the biggest swell I've ever been in, I don't know, 4 or 5 meters, I guess. But the swells aren't really that big a deal. They're just big lumps of water. It's the sea. It's seas that develop and start breaking. So when you have if you have a 3 meter sea with a wind against tide and they're breaking, that's significant. You really feel it. With a 2.4 meter beam on Marul, potentially we can get rolled by a 3 meter sea if it's steep enough. But that Klansman, pretty hard to roll. They're pretty seaworthy.
Do you use the coastal cruising guides for each coastline, or just see what is about? We've been using the Tassie ones. There's 3. There's 4 actually cruising guides for Tassie, and we sort of flicked through and used all of them.
Yeah, the coastal cruising guides for each coastline. Yeah, we'll normally have a coastal cruising. We'll normally get a hold of one, or someone will give us one, or whatever. For WA, the Fremantle Sailing Club has made available as a PDF a free download of the whole WA coast and all that great information of the Kimberleys. They've made that available for free for you. So Pascale doesn't want me.
It's near the microphone. That's all.
Yeah,
If it wasn't near the microphone, I wouldn't mind.
So yeah, that's a pretty pilotage guides for commercial mariners have been a long tradition, and they are handy with a yacht. But what you want to avoid is just using them as just we can't go anywhere else because the guide says that we should go here. They are cruising guides for sure, and definitely a lot of them have suggestions for anchorages and stuff like that. But really, if someone was to ask me what should I really devote learning about with a boat, sailing's relatively easy to get the boat going. To be a good sailor will probably take you the rest of your life, but you'll be able to move that boat in a couple of weeks really well. But knowing about anchoring, and also knowing how to stop your boat in case someone falls off it, those are the 2 things that are really sort of key. I sort of had a bit of a diversion there, but while I just think about it, I remember when we were having a live meetup, someone asked me that, what should I focus on? I'm a new sailor. It's like, stop the boat. Can everyone on there stop the boat, which is just pointing up into the wind. And also the best part of all my commercial time, like fishing and doing lots of stunt parking to get boats right in close to coral, was a good understanding of anchoring and stuff like that. I've done lots of anchoring that you would probably raise the hairs on the back of people's necks. But it's, you get used to it. So.
And Troy's actually written we mentioned it last night, a fantastic article is on our website about anchoring. So if you go to our website and then there's menus on the top, you'll see that there's an anchoring setup. So that explains how we anchor and what we use.
Yep. Thank you for everyone that's saying that we're inspiring you, because that's what we set out to do. We want to inspire people. We want to inspire Aussies to check out Australia, but we are thrilled to inspire anyone, no matter where you are in the world, especially if you're going to come and see Australia.
Does our radar pick up debris? We don't have a radar on Marul, so we've got a radar reflector, which is actually law in Tassie. You need to have a radar reflector. But no, we don't have a radar.
Yeah, we don't have a radar on boats that heel over. You sort of want a gimbling radar, but we don't have one on Marul. I think the power requirements for a decent radar would be pretty heavy for us.
The windlass is doing really well. The Muir windlass.
And
the box that we made for it, we haven't used it that much.
We've only used it a couple of times.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, the box is still good. It's epoxied, so it's tough.
It's really good at holding things. So. Yeah, sailing's easy. Sailing well is nearly impossible. And you really get it's amazing how, like, if you go sailing with someone that's really good at sailing, just how effortlessly they make shaping the sail. It's unconscious. And sooner or later, you get better at shaping sails and things like that. Having lots of telltales really helps. But we managed to wring out like some pretty good knots out of Merle for a little 30-footer. When she's roaring along at 6.5, nearly 7 knots. For an overloaded boat, like we're like our waterline is often underwater because we're 2 people. I'll say this about small boats: everything weighs the same. Stainless bolts, water, people. Well, not all people weigh the same, do they? But everything. So a big boat, like the water that keeps me and Pascale alive, is a significant percentage of our weight compared to, say, a 40-footer. So I'm always amazed by how that designer just got that boat so well designed that even though we've overloaded that thing like crazy, she still just gets along.
Yeah, really does.
So, do we use common sense when picking a shore to anchor at, or go with local knowledge? I don't know if it's common sense because a lot of people have trouble anchoring. But so we'll go. I'll use the procedure for coming into anchor is think about what the weather's going to be doing and get shelter. We'll come in and I'll do a circle and I'll look at the sounder, and looking at my sounder, I'll get an idea of what the bottom topography is. Obviously, I don't want to see any of this stuff. I want nice, smooth, undulating things. I'll do a quick circle around as big as the circle I figure I'm going to swing, and then I'll come back, drop the anchor, tell Pascale all the chain plus, let's say, 2 meters of nylon as a snubber, because we have 30-meter chain backed up by 100 meters of nylon. And so we can just keep letting out as much nylon as we need as a shock absorber. Mm. And that's basically it. But I can't, I've dropped an anchor so many thousand times, like as a fisherman, that now it's sort of second nature. So I'm probably a bad person to ask about anchoring. Even though I know a fair bit about anchoring, some of the stuff I just think is obvious.
It might not be obvious to others.
It might not. And Pascale's always like that. When we first started filming, she was like, "Oh, you should explain this." I'm like, "Everyone knows this." She goes, "No, they don't."
After we finish Australia,
we talked about that. We have to just see how the financial part's going. So.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing lipstick tonight.
Sometimes if we don't answer your questions, it's because we've already talked about it in the chat. So
sometimes the comments are going past and we missed it too. So sorry.
Yes, and also
we don't mean to ignore you.
We don't argue very much. Sometimes.
Yes, we do.
Hi, Mr. Coffee. Wind vane steering, good idea or bad? Any manufacturer that should be looked into? Well, we've only got what we've got, so we can't really tell you about other wind steering.
Our wind steering was early in the piece, those Flemings, and I don't think
we didn't put it on the boat. It came with the boat.
Yeah, it came with the boat. And I think it could be constructed a lot more robustly, and there have been very, very good, more robust wind steering gear manufactured now. Like ours is a very early one, and I had to put bracing in with Dyneema and everything else like that. So yeah, we're not expert. It's like people ask me about what's good spear guns now. I don't know. I've had mine for nearly 20 years.
There's the Monty Python arguments going on. That's merely contradiction. No, it's not. Just throwing it out there. When it comes to selling to upgrade, roughly how much would you put Marul on the market for?
I don't even know. Probably what I've got her for, like
maybe a bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. She could probably fetch about 35.
35, yeah.
Because it's got water maker and all the rest of it. She'll probably have new rigging and things. Yeah. We don't necessarily.
No, that someone actually asked about rigging, so yeah, we're probably going to put new rigging on her while we're here.
I'm so terrible at selling stuff. I'd rather just give it to someone, but I can't with a boat. So.
Yeah.
All the comments, you can give it to me. Is it possible to live on the boat just on the YouTube income?
Not on YouTube revenue, but thanks to Patreon and people giving us donations on PayPal, we've been able to. Yes, we've been able to live on the boat on that income. So.
It's possible. It's possible for us, but it really.
We do live quite minimal, and we've only got a small expenses because of the size of the boat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Also, when we set out to make these videos, we weren't doing it necessarily to make money for us to keep sailing. We were just like, we'll see if it's financially viable for us to do this project. But we fully expect it to go back to work. I think if you go out making YouTube videos to make money, you're approaching it the wrong angle, and people might see that you're doing it in a mercenary way, and they might not. It's one of those catch-22s, because you want to make money from it, you might not, because you might not be producing the content that people like to see, because they can sort of see, they're just doing it for money.
What drone?
Life's strange.
What drone do we have? It's a Mavic Pro?
Yeah, Mavic Pro.
Not a 2, just a Mavic Pro. Would you say a windlass is a safety item?
Yes, yes. Someone was asking me about how do we know the thickness of the rope. Head on over to our freerangesailing.com, and I've got an article there, and I've talked about it a lot more in depth. So Pascale's just clicking onto our website.
I'm going to give you the link.
Oh yeah, there you go. In the description.
Yeah, because it's really great.
Yeah, we made up a bit of an anchoring guide. I don't expect everyone to agree with it, because anchoring is one of those things where everyone has these different ideas. But we've certainly talked about what works for us. And nylon road is a really great one. Oh.
Yeah, I've just put the link in the comments section, but I'll put it in the description later too. Thanks, Sky. Thanks, Nick, for encouraging people to like and subscribe. For some reason, YouTube had hidden that comment, so I just brought it up. But yeah,
Marul's going well. So we've just stashed her around Hobart, so that's pretty good.
What camera do we use on our diving underwater shots? We use 2 cameras. We use a Sony FDR 3000X, an action cam, a Sony action cam in its little housing. And then we've lately been using point and shoot Sony in underwater housing. Yeah, which is a great camera. Someone's happy there's no trolls on the chat today. Hopefully we mocked them enough last time. Off the internet. Come at us, trolls. Come. What a useless bunch of people. What type of prop shaft seal is installed on Marul? It's just an old-fashioned drip seal, with packing in it. I'm not that thrilled by the motor install on Marul, and I haven't done too much about it because she's got about coming up to 4,000 hours. So, I mean, she'll still go for another 4,000. She could go for a few trips around, but the engine install has never been a highlight of that boat. And if I was going to do like what's that guy's name? Sail Life or whatever? Well, Refit Life. If I could pull Sail Life, yeah, Refit Life.
if I could pull Marul out and put her on sticks for a while, I would totally ream a dripless seal, because the new dripless seals are really, really great. Like really great. I think they're amazing. Do we use a gimbal? Yep, the Osmo's got a gimbal.
Yeah, so we've got, we mentioned last night, we've got a new camera, a little Osmo Pocket. It's a really great camera, and that's got a gimbal on it. So if you've noticed that a lot of the footage lately has been smoother, and the horizon line's been smooth and the boat's been moving, which is a pretty cool feature, that's from the Osmo Pocket. Yep. Old troll, what's up with the boom? That's not even a troll. That's a good question. We're getting a new. You look like a young Abe Lincoln. Never have you had that before? I don't know if that's going to be that great about keeping all our southern viewers. Big part of it. How easy is it to launch the drone from the boat? Depends where I am. It's harder if I'm around. With the whole keel set up, was this a big part of your decision to go with her at the time of choosing? Yes, definitely. It seems this is a popular question. I better do an article on our website about that as well. The reason I chose Marul is for Northern Australia, there was going to be lots of logs, long lines, traps. Pascale's looking at me fiddling again. I wanted something where the keel and the rudder couldn't be snapped off and leave me in the lurch many days sail from anywhere.
Okay, like it really had to be a strong situation. So Marul's keel is basically a big lump on the bottom that keeps us upright. She hasn't got a hydrofoil shape. We don't get much lift from her. She still performs surprisingly well for all that. But yeah, another thing that I talked about in last night's live chat, and I'll just mention it again, we're very conservative and traditional in our in the way we see fair, in our thinking with regards to boating. And the reason being is there's such a thing as law of unintended consequences. Whenever you try and do something, it's just all these unintended consequences come about and things turn into a big mess sometimes. If you're following a maritime tradition that's got hundreds of years, all of those consequences are pretty well understood. So, and we've seen, like, a lot of people have very progressive ideas, and it leads to such foul ups. So we tend to, because money and safety is on the line, and we can't understate it enough. A lot of people lost their lives to give us our maritime tradition. Yeah. So out of respect for those people, those men and a few women, we're very traditional in that respect. But that's just our thoughts on it. You don't have to subscribe to that at all.
We're not really into going fast on a sailboat, and I think, like, we don't get a thrill out of racing sailboats or anything like that, and some people really do, and so they might be choosing a boat that's more built for speed and less for safety. So, which is fine. Like, it's all about managing your risk, isn't it?
Yeah, having the experience to know where your experience ends.
Yeah.
Our friends Tim and Leah on their light wave catamaran, they love it and they go fast, and that catamaran suits their sailing style and their sailing ability. Now, I'm not convinced that I could handle all of those forces. As an industrial rigger, I'm really keenly aware of how many tons are on a rope. Marul, I never feel like we're well within our margins of experience with Marul. Like, there's a big safety margin. There's a lot that we can stuff up and get away with. Okay, with some of these high performance boats, I don't know if I'd be that comfortable. I got lots of experience under the water and in big power boats. My experience with sailing, maybe not so much. Maybe I'd work up to it. But don't know.
What's the most common meal you go to when sailing? Well, if you've got fish on board, it's probably like rice and sashimi or like a soup.
Yep.
If we're under sail, I just make something in the pressure cooker. So lately I've just been making like a pumpkin lentil soup in the pressure cooker. I just put all the ingredients in the pressure cooker, put water on, put it on, and then you've got soup. It's pretty nice.
Hey, Cadence, for her 16th birthday, watching here in Quarantine Canada. We love hearing about people watching us with their family.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
So we'll certainly give you a shout out. Good on you. Oats.
Is the start of our Round Australia excursion still videos on YouTube? Yes, of course they are. If you click on the playlist of all our episodes from the beginning, you'll get to watch our very first episode. It's still on YouTube. Came out nearly 3 years ago now.
Yep. Have you ever seen shipping containers afloat at sea while sailing? Not while sailing, but I've seen one while I was doing 30 knots in a powerboat, and I'm glad we didn't hit it. So we marked it, did a securite, told people that it was in the area. But Marul would actually survive an impact with a shipping container if we weren't doing like 7. I think if we were just trundling along at 5 knots, I think she'd do all right, actually. So, yeah, do whatever floats your boat, Kim. Look at her.
Do you prefer trolling, casting, or spearing fish? I reckon Kim might be a guy, but anyway, sorry, Kim.
Trolling, casting, or spearing fish. I prefer spearing fish, and the reason being is there's no, like, I can select exactly what fish I want, and I can, most of the time, hit it through the head, so it's straight away dead. With trolling, you don't have a say. So sometimes
I'm the same as well. I prefer spearing to line fishing.
Yeah. With bait fishing, you can introduce diseases unintentionally. Live baiting's sort of a little bit mean.
Yeah.
And fishing where you don't have a say in what takes the hook can lead to like barracuda. We're not going to eat them, so we're going to release them. So we've
undersized fish.
Yeah.
That's like that's why you probably don't see us line fishing as much on the channel all the time, because we just get frustrated. Like, we cast in and we're just getting small fish, so we just stop fishing. We'd rather I don't know. It's just frustrating getting lots of little fish. That's happened a little bit here in getting small flathead here in Tassie. So you won't see us pulling up lots of small flathead. We just put them back and stop fishing.
Yeah, we just stop. I much prefer to see exactly what I want, and then, bam, it's dead.
Yeah,
I don't want anything to suffer needlessly. I'm not going to promote the idea that like we should not kill animals for food, but I'm really against the idea of making things suffer, or people suffer for that matter.
But having said that, we've been catching lots of little blue mackerel, so spotty blue mackerel. They're like this big in Tassie, and they're really great. They just go for like a tiny little hook and little fly on the hook, and you just jig it. And if they're G'd up, if they're excited, they'll just go for that. And that's pretty low effort, and we're not getting any bycatch, and we're not getting anything undersized. We're just getting constant mackerel. So
people reckon I avoid the ring question. You don't know.
What is the size of your bilge and bilge pumps? Oh, I loved catching the queenfish as well, Daniel. That was fun. It's something that we...
What's our bilge pump's like a 460 gallon an hour bilge pump, but we've also got a whale manual pump. I don't know how many volumes our bilge is. It's pretty small. It's not a very big bilge at all. So,
are there any other YouTubers sailing around Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand? There's actually
Tangaroa?
Sailing Tangaroa in the Kimberley. There's a couple that a spearfishing couple called
Sail to Spear.
Sail to Spear.
He's sailing and spearfishing. And
there's another spearfishing couple called, he might actually have met them, called Jesse and Michael. They're on Sailing SV PAPAO, and they're on a catamaran in Queensland. They're just starting out, but their channel's pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of who else is sailing around. I think Life in a Nutshell is an older couple that follow us. They're
okay.
Sarian's back in Australia now. Meg and Darren.
Yeah, we've got together with the Sarian crew every now and then.
Yeah.
So
that's all I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's probably others. I think there's actually that quite a big channel, Zatara, might be in New Zealand, Sailing Zatara. They're in a catamaran. They're a big family from America.
Tangaroa for 70 grand.
Whoa, is that how much she is? They've done some nice mods to her. Like she's got... What I really like about Sailing Tangaroa's Warrum is, she's what the modifications they did to her, she looks like the lines are nice.
No, we're not in the market to buy a catamaran.
No.
We're mono people. Mackerel is delicious. You're totally correct.
Yeah, we're really loving the mackerel down here. Very oily. We've been pickling them like roll mops.
Can you bring cats to stay with me on the boat? You can, and not only that, you can train them to use your toilet. If you put the cat litter box in the toilet so they perch on the side and use it, and then one day you just get rid of the cat litter box and they don't know where it is, they'll go back and use the toilet. Cats are amazing on boats. And any cockroaches or anything, they'll... Great job, Troy. You guys, during hard times, you both stay positive and optimistic. We got Pascale here.
Yeah, Sailing Catalpa, but they're not in Australia anymore, John. I think they might be in Malaysia or Indonesia or something like that.
When will the cookbook be finished, Pascale?
Still working on it.
It's going through extensive testing.
Yeah.
A sextant tutorial, not from me.
We don't have one.
We don't have a sextant on board. I'm pretty rusty on my trig and stars, I'm afraid.
Some people, actually, that was a question right at the start. They're asking about how we navigate on board. So,
okay, navigation on board. A lot of the time, we're pretty lazy now and like play video games and look on the GPS. But I mean, I know how to coastal nav.
Sightings.
Yeah, we don't need to do sextant work because we're not crossing oceans. We can do pretty much everything we need just by hand bearing compass and having a look around. Don't even need dead reckoning with that because we've got access to lighthouses and things like that. We do like we use, what's that chart program called? Memory Map. Memory Map is now I'll just say Memory Maps. They contacted us, or one of the distributors in Australia contacted us and gave it to us for free to use. All right, so there's our
disclaimer.
That's what you want to know. We did get it for free. It is a paid product. But what I do like about it is that they are digitised versions of Australian charts, paper charts. And I guess somewhere else in the world they would be the same thing. on paper charts, you have a lot of really great information on the margins, like the zone of confidence, how accurate the chart is in different areas. It's got the little boxes that I'm used to looking for the currents and things like that. Really great resource. So with regards to that, look, we haven't been able to carry the paper charts that we'd like for a lot of Australia, but with memory maps, we actually have access to it. And even if the GPS went down, as long as that computer still worked, I'd be able to use it to triangulate our position.
Yeah.
Most of the time we've got...
And we do use OpenCPN as well. Solo Sailors just said that's free, and it's
OpenCPN
really
combined with Google Earth and GE2 Cap is the program. If you're a patron, we've got that on the patron site, the links to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
They're really good. But with our GPS, we've got 2 separate redundant GPS units, and we've also got like a little puck that's also a wireless GPS pickup.
Yeah.
So if we get hit by lightning, there'll be something that's sitting in a metal tin,
Faraday cage,
and we can. So we've got a spare sounder and we've got a spare GPS unit. But even if we lost the GPS, we'd get by. You know, and there's a lot of people sailing out there at the moment that are navigating by computer game. Like if the satellites went down, they'll be in a world of trouble, and there'll be probably a lot of expensive catamarans for sale on the market if GPS stopped working. So, yeah, OpenCPN's great. What else? With regards to getting stuck in cold Tassie, we were always going to do a refit here.
Yeah.
And now that we've actually met the people of Tasmania and how awesome they are, we're so happy that we're going to spend some of our hard-earned money in their local economy. So it's quite a I won't say cheap, it's an inexpensive place to do a refit.
Yeah.
It's just that
compared to the rest of Australia, put it that way.
Yeah, it's just with the COVID nonsense, it just brought forward our plans like a month and a half. So we'll just have a longer refit. But we were always going to get off the water for winter because cold.
Yeah.
Is it a legal requirement to carry paper charts? It's not anymore. But it's not a bad thing. You definitely want to be able to find where you are. If you get hit by lightning is a big one that really confounds people. It takes out everything.
Yeah. How do you guys... Oh, yeah, that's another boat that's in Australia. They got hit by lightning.
Timor got hit by lightning.
Yeah, I can't... It's Finding Avalon. That's another sailing channel in Australia. They got hit by lightning, so that took them out pretty bad. Someone specialist Alpha's asked us this question twice. I think, do you get hypothermia in that? How do you not get hypothermia in that freezing water? Well, we don't stay in too long. It'd be better if we had thicker wetsuits, and we always have like a hot drink straight away, and we get into warm clothing straight away. But sometimes when you're out processing in your wetsuit, it can get pretty cold.
Yeah.
You can get the shakes for a while. But yeah, we manage.
We're actually getting sent some 2-piece wetsuits soon, so that's really great.
Yeah. How many litres is the pressure cooker? It doesn't say on there, but I'm
3,
fairly certain it's 3. It's pretty small.
When I was in Mauritius, I found that pressure cooker in a little store, and I bought it.
It's a Rico.
Yeah, that was my one purchase when I...
How much was it? Like nothing.
Sailed halfway around the world and came back with a little pressure cooker.
I just put the brand on there. It's a Rico. It's not sponsored. It's just like an Indian... Is it an Indian brand?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I enjoy plotting paper on long passages. When I first went to sea, we weren't using GPS, and it was all paper plots and radar. Using radar to triangulate was the big thing. I guess I've gotten a bit lazy, but it's very tempting to, like when the rain's pouring, you sort of you do tend to fall back on that GPS. So it's good to know that you can, you really should know how to navigate there.
In the US, you can get marine charts electronically for free. Does Australia have the similar program? I don't know.
No. OpenCPN is the best way to get those charts. They're not digital replications of charts, so the quality's...
It's all you're buying done with plastic. I'm sure you don't carry cash. Well, actually, in Australia, all the cash is plastic.
Oh, snap. we do carry a little bit of cash, but yeah, a lot of the time now is yeah.
Well, at the moment, it's encouraged to be contactless in Australia, just to stop spread of anything. So yeah, we're using card a lot more at the moment.
What do you do with your wetsuits after a dive? Do you rinse them in the cockpit? No, don't wee in your wetsuit, and then you can just hang it up and dry it.
We turn them inside out, and if it's sun, it's good because they get a bit of UV on them. But
yeah.
Yes, we use safety harnesses.
Hang on. So we're planning on sailing around Australian Pacific next year, and what skills could we be working on before we leave? First aid. Go and do your first aid course, both of you together. That's a really good thing. Free diving, it's not something that you work on before you leave. It's something that you sort of work on as you go because it's a fun thing to do. Amateur radio, get yourself a good shortwave radio. I don't know. I don't know where you're lacking in your skills. Like when you're thinking about traveling around, what's giving you the heebie-jeebies that you feel nervous about? Work on those things. Navigation courses, local yacht club. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had to look for a navigation course for a long time.
A few people have asked us about doing Merle's rigging with Dyneema. You didn't cover that, did you? I wasn't having a brain fart moment in you.
No. I thought about doing it, but I'll just stick with the stainless. We don't
want another one where we don't want to be like pioneers of.
I'm just going to stick with stainless for the time being. Again, just because of my understanding of it. But our friend Scott here, he's done his boat in Dyneema, and I was raising the question with him, like, do you think cockatoos ripping apart your rigging might be a problem? He's got some nice big thick stuff, and he's done a really great job. And he doesn't think so. He reckons it's pretty tough gear. But I think I'll just stick with stainless for the time being. I was weighing up doing it in Dyneema, but we carry Dyneema for spare. Like if we pop a shroud or something, we've got Dyneema. I've got enough Dyneema to rig, and I can make up a cascade system to tension it as well and throw it through a winch.
If you rinse the wetsuits in fresh water, they last longer. Yeah, that's great, but we don't have enough water aboard to have the luxury of rinsing in fresh water.
I've been a professional diver, and with those wetsuits, you flog out and compress and kill a wetsuit before salt kills the rubber.
Right.
The neoprene. Like we used to just use our wetsuits every day and then wash them with Dettol and fresh water once when the spring tides came along. And when I was aquarium fish catching, they never got rinsed. But what we did have is zips in the front, so if you need to go to the toilet, you could
go out.
Because if you're going to wee in your wetsuit, then you want to rinse it.
What's the make of our solar panels? The back ones are BP solar.
The BP solar
they're
are
really good.
And the other ones
are rubbish, so we won't even tell you.
Yeah, don't worry about
them. HF or VHF enough? Well, we just have VHF, and we have an HF receiver through our little transistor, or what do you call it? Like a little.
We've got a shortwave radio for picking up HF transmissions from the Bureau of Meteorology, and we've got a VHF radio for inter-yacht contact. You're going to have to get a ham radio license if you want to have a transmitting HF radio. We don't really have the space or the requirement for coastal cruising for an HF radio, and a lot of people are now turning to sat phone as well. That you can sort of work out.
DIY stainless rigging with Staylock or similar. I think we'll have to, when we do the rigging, we'll obviously make a video on it and just explain why we made these choices. But we've also made friends with a guy here who's a rigger here who will probably be helping us. We're going to approach him now.
We're going to ask one of the friends we've made here in Tasmania who does rigging, and rather than me comment on it, because I'm an industrial rigger, not a sailing rigger. So I'd like to give someone that does it for a living camera time on that one, because you guys will get more useful knowledge from him because he knows what he's talking about rather than me sort of just
guessing. And we'll cover lots of questions about Dyneema going on, so we'll cover that. It seems to be really people are really interested in it, and it's a new and upcoming thing, so we'll cover Dyneema and stainless and what we chose and why.
I'm surprised Troy wouldn't use Dyneema, as you can make new stays while you're in the middle of nowhere, but you can't with stainless cable. That's a point. But if the stainless cable does break and you've got Dyneema, you can still make the stay.
Which we do. We actually do carry Dyneema on Marul.
Yeah, that's what
case that happens.
We were just saying, but stainless lasts. It lasts so long. It's not like they just give up if you size it correctly and get it, if you do it right the first time. So,
Do we do many night passages?
I love night passages.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't. The only time I don't like is when we're going really fast downwinds.
Yeah,
which I've already talked about.
The nice thing about night passages is that you're not out getting solar irradiated.
Sunburnt,
you're not
yeah.
getting sunburnt. But seeing where ships are going is really, really straightforward.
Seeing their lights, the nav lights, and things like that.
Yeah, and you see lighthouses and everything. So I actually am quite comfortable sailing around at night, even more than daytime, because people say, "Oh, you might hit something that you don't see," but not many people are like a meerkat, like looking out for dangers 100% of the time on a 3-day passage. You know, they're downstairs, they're enjoying a pina colada. I don't know what people do out there, but they're not like staring straight ahead like you would driving a car.
Mm.
Night cruising is just great.
Mm.
Mm.
No, we don't make pickled eggs. We normally just eat them before before we get a chance to pickle them.
Yeah. Hide.
Sorry if we missed any of your questions on here.
Yeah, we'll go.
Oh, there's a whole heap coming through now. Are pirates an issue? Oh, yeah, a lot of people have asked about pirates, but in Australian waters, there's no issue with pirates.
Yeah.
So that hasn't really been something we've worried about.
Yeah, I'd give you thoughts on centerboard cruises if I'd ever sailed one. I try not to expound on things I have no experience with.
Yeah.
Suffering crevice corrosion issues with lots of embedded fasteners on my 45-year-old Cat 32. Would you drop the keel and inspect the bolts if she were your boat? I'd definitely have a look at the crown of them, and if there was any corrosion at all, I'd drop it. And if I was going to cross an ocean, I would probably do it. Otherwise, I'm not sure. When you pull it out of the water, are you seeing rust streaks coming down the keel? Bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
What you doing there?
Oh, just someone's been accidentally hidden. But I don't know how to unhide them. Sorry, guys. Operator error.
Operator error.
We don't have AIS. Yeah, we do have a sat phone, but it's mainly to keep in touch with our families.
Any questions about the refit, just wait for the videos.
Yeah. Best places we've anchored in Australia, probably a lot of the spots in the Kimberley. Video coming out next week is really great. It's a really cool anchorage if you're on Patreon. And if you've just joined Patreon, you'll be able to watch it after this live chat because we put our videos up a week early for patrons. But that's a really, really cool anchorage.
Jax just asked, what's the top couple of things you get out of content creation itself? So it's you guys is a big part of it. All right. The letters that we get encourage, like people saying that we've changed their lives, inspired them to do things, helping them out in, some people are in dark times, dark places, and we've sort of shone some light into their world. All of those things make it worth doing.
Definitely.
We had people might actually, not too many people ask about the financial things, what we get out of it, which it's not a lot, but the intangibles are great. So when we roll into a new port, we often have friends. We've met some wonderful people. Dave and Gabe are just a couple here in Tassie that we've met. We get into a port and we've got friends. It feels like we've got a community that we're building.
Yeah.
And if anyone's out there and they think they're going to like YouTube their travels or whatever, don't go down that clickbaity path because the community that you build will probably be people that you might...
Takers, maybe.
Maybe takers, whereas I think we've got a lot of people in there that are very generous.
Sharing knowledge and just like the community spirit around free range sailing has been really great. The engagement on Facebook is crazy. Like I know not everyone likes Facebook, but it's been a really great community there. People are sharing ideas. Even just you guys chatting on there before we got started on the live chat was really great. So, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about towing a dinghy? I'm not really that thrilled by it. Some dinghies tow better than others. I prefer not to tow anything. I'd rather have everything on the boat under control. Control freak.
What has been the most scenic sailing so far? I think some of that sailing around around the peninsula, Fortescue Bay, And when we went in between, is it Tasman Island down below in the southern bit there? You know, when we went through that hole in the wall?
Yeah, between Tasman and the rest of Tasmania.
That was pretty scenic, like the cliffs and everything. There were seals like 10, 12 metres above us. I don't even know how they got up there.
If you haven't sailed Tasmania yet, put it on your list if you like dramatic scenery. It was unexpectedly mountainous and precipitous drop-offs, and I wasn't really expecting it to be quite so dramatic and beautiful. So.
Yeah, that's been really crazy. The Kimberleys is also incredible. I mean, if you go down those gorges in those rivers, it's amazing. So you're not really sailing though. There's not really any wind. So
what do you think weighs more, your fermented food or my tools?
Definitely your tools. The fermented food gets eaten quite quickly anyway because it's delicious.
Yeah. So
can't eat the tools yet.
Dead croak. Because you guys had to scrap my South Pacific dreams, my wife wants to sail around Oz.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd go anti-clockwise though. That's the correct way to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Plans in the foreseeable future. Our foreseeable future's become a lot harder to
with future
foresee.
boats and stuff like that. It's too hard to know and share with you guys. So.
Yeah, with the bigger boat, would you choose? I'd never really go above 42 foot, and preferably 36 would be better. We were sort of, when we were looking at like what sort of boat we would upgrade to, I was really interested in having a workshop, just because being able to be fully self-sufficient, you know, like having a place where I could build small things would be really great. In Marul, there's no place where I can set up a vice, and it's frustrating sometimes to do that. So.
Yeah. How to boil an egg without cracking has worked flawlessly. Great tip.
We cover lots of tips. You'll have to excuse me a second. I'm just going to go to the loo. This live chat is going.
Our occupations before FRS, well, Troy and I have both had lots of occupations. Maybe we can have a little pop quiz on there and see how many people can guess what Troy and I have done in the past, how many people have been paying attention. Go for it. Oh, I'm glad that you're enjoying our videos, Special Alpha. Thanks for all your thanks, everybody. We're not sure when we're going to cross the Great Australian Bight. We haven't really... We're just enjoying where we are at now. For now, we're trying to be a bit more in the present and, just enjoy Tassie, and then we'll decide. We don't hide any food from each other on the boat. There's not really anywhere to hide it. Oh, maybe I'll hide the chocolate. Do I hide the chocolate?
You hide chocolate from me all the time.
Yeah, I hide chocolate. I actually started buying really dark chocolate because then Troy won't eat it.
It's mean, isn't it?
It's very mean.
I'll just say again, if people are asking about what we did or anything like that, head on over to freerangesailing.com and there's a little bit about me, Pascale, and the boat. So
there is. And
you might find something interesting there.
Yeah.
Make room for a larger head on Marul. This one's big enough.
What sort of gardening was I doing? I was doing mainly garden maintenance. So it was just a little run-of-the-mill, like lawn mowing, weeding, planting trees and stuff like that. So, yeah. I would prefer to be doing food gardening, but, we're happy doing what we're doing now.
Davits are on deck. For us, it has to be on deck. There's no room for davits. There's so much stuff hanging off the back of Marul at the moment.
Talking about a future boat, but talking about a future boat, we don't really know what it's going to be. So
yeah, we can't really talk about it. So Pops All Boats loves us kids. We love you too.
Some people were saying that was a bit of the Australian internet lag. Is that still bad? Are we lagging or is the audio bad?
We've got the worst internet in the world in this country.
I'm really glad that you like all the tips and tricks. Joe Balls.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Everyone's saying that the connection's okay. We get a little flicker on the screen, a little white flicker.
Yeah.
voice isn't synced. Oh, that's a bit annoying, but
yeah, sometimes it flips out. But what do we got to do?
Better than yesterday. Oh, hi, Peter. It's our patron, Peter. It's cool that you could join us for both.
Yeah, that has been good. Like doing the two. Like the last time we tried to cover everyone around the world, we were up at midnight drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
So this time we just skipped the whiskey and just did
two sessions.
So
we figured, like, because most of you guys are probably home, so we figured it's probably a good time to do live chats.
Yep. I'm in Melbourne and I have crappy internet, so it doesn't improve anywhere you go.
60 seconds behind the comment, but the audio and the video is good. Yeah, okay. Well, these are people in Australia. I bet people in America are getting it faster than people that are like only a few hundred miles away.
Yeah. Plans on starting a family, it's not something we'd really talk about. And if we had a baby on board, we'd stop filming.
We'd stop filming.
Because that baby will grow up into an adult and they might resent not having a choice of being a public figure.
Yeah.
So no, we wouldn't film it.
No.
People can handle that how they want, but that's
how we feel.
Yeah,
oh, well.
Just go to the website and you'll find out.
Yeah.
What's Tim?
I'll never understand the appeal of dark chocolate. That said, bars of 70% lint have made it into my hurricane food stash.
70%, I'm with you there, Tim.
70% lint is probably, it's probably good because you're not going to, well, you can still eat a whole block of 70% lint. That's why I get the darker ones.
A whole block is just the recommended dose when it comes to chocolate.
Yeah. Starlink is supposed to fix the lag. I don't know what Starlink is.
Space Ghost was 63 in a life fog, and then one night found your vids, discovered there are real good people in the world, and I thank you.
Oh.
That is exactly the sort of comment that warms our hearts, and we do. Like we'll get messages from people just all the time, just saying that we're making a difference, and everyone that's contributed, whether it's 50 cents or $25 a week or whatever, it's somewhere in between. You know, like some people just give us like $1 a year, but everyone that's contributed and enabled us to keep filming in some way and has made it possible that we don't have to have corporate sponsors on here. You share in that thanks. You know, like when that guy's saying that, you know, we've lifted up his life his life fog, then everyone that's sort of contributed to free range sailing, you can share in that thanks. Like you've made it possible. So it's really great.
I think everyone's partially a public figure with social media, but it's your own choice about whether you want to be active on social media. I have plenty of friends that choose not to have Facebook, choose not to have Instagram because they don't want to be active, or they have they don't have aliases. They don't actually have their name and stuff on social media. So it's personal choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them make that choice. So.
Yeah. And there's lots of you out there that have told us like we don't have Instagram and we don't have Facebook. So, and that's fine, but it's one of the easiest ways for us to connect with people with those existing social media outlets. So
we meet quite a few people as we travel around, and they don't appear on our shows because they don't want to.
Yeah.
They're fully grown and they can say, look, don't stick my face on camera. I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
New Jersey, no lag. So even though everyone is in love, being on a small boat 24/7, sometimes things can be tense. How do you handle those moments?
Pushing that. I don't know. Like we're not covering anything up. Like we really don't have fights.
If we have a disagreement, it's usually short-lived.
It's normally about the direction of like how we want to edit a video or like how we want to film something. It's never anything else, is it? It's always like, oh, I want to film it this way. No, I want to film it this way. That's all it is, really. I can't really think of any other disagreements. They're always about like kind of the creative angle on the next video or what we're going to film. That's the only time we have disagreements.
Yeah.
And that's because it's more of a creative thing. It's less of a practical thing, you know? We're trying to we've both got different ideas. And that's good. I think that's healthy that we're having discussion and we're not always following. We've got different ideas about.
Yeah, we're still individuals and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think some people wonder about some people wonder about Pascale and I's relationship and, it looks like it works out really well. I think the way our society, I'm going to just go on a little bit of a tangent. The way our society is structured at the moment, they've got men and women living together, but they're off pursuing different careers, like completely different life paths, and they come back of an evening and spend a few hours together. The way we've structured our relationship in life is that we're both aiming for the same thing and working together all of the time. So we don't have any. We don't have conflicting egos. Our career path is perfectly aligned together. So it's a cooperative endeavor all the time.
Yeah.
So we don't fight. Like we just love each other and work together. So I'm going to make you cry, am I?
No.
So I don't. Some of these questions that they don't make sense to us because we're not in that situation where we fight or that we're having a conflict.
Oh, thank you so much for your support, Tom, and encouraging people to support us. There's no pressure at all. Like it's everyone's personal choice, and we're just so grateful that you're all out there and commenting and enjoying the videos. That's all we really wanted to do. So
yeah, that's right.
But we've got so much gratitude for those people that do support us. It keeps us going. So they're the reason why we can do what we do. So
yeah. Check out Uma Refit for ideas. That I think aren't they architects? Like,
they're interior architects.
They might have different priorities for their boat than what we do.
Yeah.
They might have a different ideas. I think they like open space where we don't, and other things like that. So I don't know if our boat will look like that.
I feel like I just like cozy spaces. So even though Marilla's pretty small, I try and make her cozy, like keep the wood and...
Not any cozier.
Yeah, I know. Well, what I wanted to say, not small, she's rough. Like she's got the rough fiberglass finish on her and everything. But
Ben, thank you for jumping on Patreon and gave back. So it doesn't have to be much, and you cancel any time. But
yeah,
hang in there with us as well.
Yeah.
We're not encouraging you to go as soon as you can. Ever sail in a cyclone? No, I was both cyclones that I've been on boats for. I've been nicely tucked up in a creek. I haven't had that misfortune to sail through a cyclone. We were speaking to someone that went through a relatively strong one, and it didn't sound pleasant.
Thoughts on the Nanji grounding? Did they ground? I
Got
don't know.
idea.
We
don't watch many sailing videos because we're sailing. Like we were saying before, we watch gardening and chicken videos.
Yeah, I am. Everyone
watches videos and stuff they're not doing.
What other channels are doing just because of Instagram. Like it's really easy to pops up in your feed and you see what they're doing, but that's about it.
I will bet $20 that your Chinese signs are compatible. What are you? A rat or something? I'm a bull or an ox.
I think I'm a tiger. 1986. You're 1973, so someone can figure it out and put it on there.
I don't know who's going to take you up on your $20 bet. 37 foot, not 30. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, that is. 37 foot is really like a lot more in the beam.
That's a proper size house.
Yeah.
We would have a lot of space in it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with Uma. Like they've committed. That's their home. So they're really spending the time, really making it cozy and lovely. And they're also they spend winter in the UK on their boats. So I think it was the UK, somewhere in Europe. So
everyone boat sort of has to reflect their personality and what they like and stuff like that. So,
yes, we do like having a big steak. I think there's something really. Yeah, it's really nice to have a big steak. It's not something that we do all the time, but when we come ashore, we love having a bit of red meat.
Yeah, if we...
especially around in Australia, we have beautiful pastured-raised beef here, the grass-fed beef. So
definitely. And we really like to have that separation of land food and seafood as well. Oftentimes people say, do you know you can preserve eggs? But eggs are such a delicacy to us.
And they're so good when they're fresh.
But we love to have them as fresh as possible. Good. So we take some to sea with us, but we never try and preserve them just because, I don't know, eggs are underrated as a delicacy. If we paid the proper price for eggs, people would appreciate them more, I think. Poor old chooks in a bloody big house. The gardening and chicken channel. Now you know why we're free range sailing. How's the King Island beef? Have we had King Island beef? It's got a good reputation.
Oh yeah, we have. We've had some. Yeah.
How do the buckets you hang off the boom stop the boat rolling? So it doesn't stop it from rolling. It stops it from synchronizing with the waves, because what will happen is the boat starts to roll, and the timing will be such that just as it rolls like that, another wave will hit it and it'll just increase and get bigger and bigger and worse and worse. Whereas a bucket is light in itself. Like when the bucket's in the water, it weighs nothing, but as soon as it lifts out, it suddenly weighs something. So it throws out that synchronization. So it stops a big roll developing, but you'll still rock a bit. You're on a boat. You can make some good stabilizers on a larger boat if you've got space to carry them. So thanks for answering that question. My girlfriend was listening. Yeah, hope we've helped you out there, Jean. Pickled eggs. I love you too. Any issues around seasickness? Yeah, sure. Every now and then we'll get seasick. I've been, as an engineer on a boat, sometimes I've been forced to go down low, and once you smell diesel, it's pretty bad. Pascale gets a bit of seasickness. After we've had the house and refit for a while, our first big sea, we'll probably get a little bit of it, but it's just never debilitating. Sometimes a little bit of throw up over the side, and then we're back to work. Some people, it just kills them, and they wouldn't be able to do what we do. So, have you ever found a message in a bottle or put one out to sea? I did put a message in a whiskey bottle when we were going down the Red Sea once. I don't do it now, though, because a floating bottle will float along until it hits rocks on a beach and then shatter, and then someone will get it in their foot. Oh, someone's got their new T-shirt. Hi, Jose Gonzalez. He obviously wants to say hi.
Hello, Jose.
Well,
we talked about backup. I reckon that we might have poor internet again because the questions have stopped coming through.
Yeah. Scariest shark encounter? I guess that grey reefy that came up and sniffing your fins.
Yeah.
Haven't really had any, have we?
Yeah, I jumped in the water at the Great Barrier Reef, and Troy had already swum off to where we were going to go diving, and reefy came up out of the water, like out from the deep blue, and just came up and had a look at me. So that's scary when you jump straight in the water and a shark swims up at you.
Yeah. But, are we going to fly home and see the folks or just crack on? I'm pretty keen on seeing family. We'll see. We'll have to see what's going on. Looking beautiful as always there.
Yeah, so there is a lag with the comments. If Pascale's a tiger, then compatible signs are horse, dragon, pig. We were talking about that a while ago. I don't think you're any of those. I don't think you're a horse, dragon, or a pig.
Nah. We've been carrying the crab trap for a while and never seen it used. Yeah, I know. How about that?
There's actually in our friend's storage shed at the moment because we can't use it here in Tassie. There's no crab.
There's no mud crabs down here to catch. So we actually caught more just using that Aboriginal spear. So
yeah. So I don't know. The people are successful with crab traps if they prospect, if they've got like multiple traps, hey, to put in different spots. Whereas we don't have space to carry multiple traps. So
that's right.
Block.
Yeah.
Off-grid Aussie Prepper's back. Ningaloo Reef is really awesome.
Yep.
Variable visibility compared to Great Barrier Reef, so sometimes it's quite murky there. We didn't. You can see whale sharks there, but we didn't see any. But that would be really cool to be able to dive with the whale sharks.
Yep. John Boyle. G'day, John. Yeah, cray trap. We saw a folding cray trap, and we've been.
They're really cool, but they're sold out.
We've coveted them.
They're made in WA, but there weren't any available here in Tassie for us to purchase.
We've caught lobster by hand. Pascale's watch the videos. Pascale comes out.
Oh, everything just comes in like a rush.
I know.
We'll have nothing. I think it's like poor internet. We'll have nothing, and then all of a sudden, all your comments and questions come, and now, oh, how annoying!
The trolls found you. Only one. A bit of a goon, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you'll be walking around in the city and you'll see like someone's graffitied a bin or something that's just so low effort.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what?
Why?
Just such a negative score on the scoreboard of life.
You're Troy's an ox. Yeah, I think that's what you are.
Yeah.
Troy's an ox. That's right. But we're not compatible according to Chinese.
You don't anchor when you're out in the ocean when it's very deep. It's not a dumb question. Like there's such a thing as heaving too, where you can set your sails and the boat will just hold a position. But normally you don't really need to anchor where you're deep. If you're stopping to fish, you just drift or something like that. Some people do anchor in like 100 meters of water, but they're usually set up with specialist gear to do it.
Oh, okay, cool. It just lags sometimes, but the quality is great.
Yeah.
What is your budget per annum?
We haven't really set up a budget, but you're gonna need your $5 to $10 grand to keep the boat going every year.
Yeah. If you're living aboard.
Yeah, and then we just have a couple of grand for food, I suppose. We don't. There's no space on our 30-footer for like buying knickknacks and all the rest of that stuff. So we live pretty modestly. If we spend money on anything, it's
laundromat's actually quite expensive after a while because you've got to wash your sheets and your towels and everything. So you can't hand wash sheets and towels. So and now that we're wearing clothes more.
Would you ever make a TV series? We do every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, our budget's pretty low, and it would be even lower if we weren't making the videos. But then again, we wouldn't have the income subsidising what we're doing. So, but most of our expenditure goes on sound and video gear actually, and the things to run it like solar panels and systems.
Oh, happy birthday to your son Bo! Happy 14th.
Another family
May babies. I'm a May baby too. My best friend from school's birthday today too. Heave to or sea anchor? Oh, I knew, and also I knew 2 questions. Our new patron Ben has asked us which tool we could not do without on the boat.
Our most common tool used would probably be a knife.
Yeah, or the multi-tool.
Yeah, multi-tool gets a bit of use, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if you can really put it down to one tool.
The Babajan.
Yeah, monkey wrench. There's so many different systems on a boat that you're not going to be able to get away with one tool, but you definitely want to have a good knife if you're living the way we do. I sort of make a bit of a joke that like you either need a wallet or you need a knife. You know, but if you're going to have a wallet in your pocket, you don't need the knife. But as soon as you leave your wallet behind, you'll need a knife. That's because we're sort of free ranging around.
Island Packet 37.
Ooh, what a beauty.
Yeah, so heave to or sea anchor. Well, we don't have a sea anchor, so a storm anchor or whatever. That's what they meant, right? Storm anchor. My birthday today too. Happy birthday, everyone.
Happy birthday, all you people just
babies.
Celebrating your birthday with us. You're not allowed to go outside.
Well, maybe, actually, it's probably 2nd of May for some people, but yeah, in America.
How often do you need to replace electronics? We haven't really. Like when I left Perth, I put a new GPS and sounder in.
The old GPS kind of works, but it's like 15 years old.
Yeah, it's my old fishing one. So it's got some good waypoints.
When we were doing like a reef pass in the Whitsundays, you couldn't figure out why there was so much like crazy rushing tide coming off the reef.
Yeah.
And the GPS had reset itself or something, recalibrated. I thought it was 1970 or something.
1999.
1999.
Try it.
The tides are all wrong.
We're really resistant to buying cheap stuff. Getting something that's inexpensive for what it is good, but just don't be tempted by cheap, crappy products or cheap rip-offs. It's just the last thing you want on a boat is to be like weeks and weeks away from port and having to carry something that doesn't work and it's taking up valuable space. Oh, it's a killer in your mind.
Yeah. Did we get a fish finder yet?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't really have a wardrobe on the boat, which is a bit frustrating. So all our like nice clothes get put in vac seal bags and into suitcases, and then when we come when we get a chance to be in a marina or be somewhere on land for a week, we'll pull out those clothes and iron them or wash them and wear them. Otherwise, that's why we're always getting around in kind of rough old clothing, because we just fold it up and put it on our shelf. We don't have a wardrobe.
Have we ever been threatened or scared of other people, pirates or weirdos? Not at all. Not at all. I think when we were up in Arnhem Land and some of the locals came and knocked on the midnight, locked on the hull and started like yahooing and that, some people might have found that intimidating, but we were pretty all right with it. But we don't have pirates in Australia. They're on land, but at sea we don't really have them. Like our maritime enforcement is, I don't know, there's just no pirates here.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to worry about.
No.
And weirdos, I don't know, maybe we are weirdos, we get on with them.
Yeah.
So the size inverted you run, so 1500's a good size. So
do we go up to 2000 in Sydney? Do we replace it?
It's not 2000.
Oh, it's not 2000.
A small camping washing machine. We don't really have the space for anything that's not like really 100% good and effective. Some of those little ones, I don't know, you may as well just
I'm not
get
sure
like
if you
a
can do your
bucket and a
sheets
foot.
very well in the little camping ones, and that's the main thing, like sheets and towels. The other stuff you can get away with hand washing.
Stop buying made in China. Agree.
What was your best buy for the boat?
The best buy for the boat? Whoa.
It's a hard question. I think when we were up in Northern Australia, we were very grateful that we had the spinnaker.
The spinnaker, yeah.
The asymmetrical spinnaker.
Getting a working autopilot also helped when we didn't have any wind. Like motoring and hanging onto a tiller is a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really forget that even though we don't use it all the time, the water maker is like amazing, the freedom that gives you, having a water maker.
Yeah. I don't know. Too hard.
So 3 things.
We everything that we have, we really use. Like everything. If it doesn't have at least one, it has to have 1 or 2 uses at least.
Yeah, otherwise
So that everything that we have.
Yeah.
So
we haven't seen any submarines, but doesn't mean we haven't been there.
I saw a submarine around Fremantle. That's pretty cool. I've seen one come up. They're pretty amazing.
We don't do man overboard drills.
Have you ever thought about buying a submarine? In my next career as an international drug smuggler.
I really don't like I think submarines are cool and I admire them, but I've been inside one at the Maritime Museum in Sydney and I did not enjoy the experience. I think I've told people before we've told people in episodes that I get claustrophobia, so submarine, no. Bad. The air's really stale. Oh, even this submarine was kind of open, but it was still stale. I just couldn't imagine. I mean, they're all full of dudes anyway, so just smelling those things.
Corey 4x4, g'day, mate. Yeah, water.
Yeah.
The water maker does seem important to me. I think yesterday, I'll just rehash what I said yesterday about a water maker. If you see people talking about what they are, like $1 per litre, it's not the way to look at it. You've just bought a boat, you've gone to all this trouble to get to a remote location. That water might be the limiting factor. So it doesn't matter what the price per litre, whatever that water you can supply with the water maker, it's supporting the purchase of that whole boat for you to get to that destination.
And be able to stay there as long as you want.
As long as you want. So you might have gone to a lot of trouble to get to a place, and if you have to turn around because you run out of water, that is disappointing.
Yes, or if you have to go out sailing in, like you've got a really bad system for a week, but you've just run out of water and you're stuck. You've got to go out sailing in it. That would be horrible.
The brand of water maker is a Catadine Power Survivor, and there's actually a video of me pulling it apart.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just look up water maker, I guess.
So
Brisbane to Whitsunday is doable with limited experience. I don't know if we can give any advice on that.
If you do Brisbane to the Whitsundays with limited experience, when you come out of it, you'll have pretty good experience. There's big tides.
Good variation of stuff.
It's if you want to do training for sailing in Northern Australia, there's around Mackay and everything like that, and just to the south of there, it's like Arnhem Land, but in closer to civilization. There's big tides, there's crocodiles, sandflies, challenging conditions. So I'm not going to encourage anyone to go out in. I don't know how limited your experience is, So If you think you've got limited experience, maybe you just build up on it.
Wide Bay Bar is fun.
Wide Bay Bar is fun.
Especially when you're tacking out of Wide Bay Bar. We had wind on the nose when we went out of Wide Bay Bar.
Put a sticky dot on all your gear and pull it off when you use it. Anything that has a dot after 6 months, throw it away.
Oh, yeah, and someone got upset because they said don't throw it overboard unless it's okay. I think it was just a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
I don't think they meant actually literally throw it overboard. That's probably a good tip, but we don't have enough stuff to really do that with.
Yeah. We were looking at like larger yachts, like for moving on from Marul. But anything that we looked at wasn't, there was a lot of rundown boats and they're no good. So
yeah. Oh, you had areas with crocs was noisy trying to sleep with them. We only really had one spot in the Mitchell River where it was really noisy. We were getting like growling and splashing in the night.
Yeah.
But I imagine in those river areas in Northern Australia, like if you're inland a bit, but in the rivers where there's salty crocs. Midges is really bad in Northern Australia. You actually build up an immunity to them. I guess it'd be the same in parts of Asia and Africa, wherever there are sandflies. Sandflies are everywhere, really, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you build up an immunity over time, but it's pretty bad to begin with. Are we living just off savings and Patreon or doing something else online? No, it's just savings and Patreon for now. Writing the cookbook, which will be available for sale when it's completed.
We don't have much time. Like making these videos absorbs.
It's really time consuming.
Like in between, because our boat moves nearly every day. So sailing every day, maintaining that boat as it sails every day, filming and making the videos consumes
all our time.
Just about all of the time that we're awake.
We're not on the boat. Now that we're not on the boat, all our time is going to making the videos and refitting the boat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A lot of the time you'll watch a documentary or something and it's amazing. Like the cast of credits will be like 100 people.
Yeah.
Not 2.
Yeah.
So we just don't have any more time. Yeah, all of our episodes are pretty much just funded by Patreon and PayPal donations, and that's what's we haven't had to stop doing free range sailing. At one point we were thinking, well, we'll just have to stop. We'll just have to go back to work.
Yeah.
And if we went and did that, there wouldn't be any more time to make the videos, and it just wouldn't be feasible to do it. So the reason that we've been able to continue is we've had enough support that we can continue to make the episodes. And also the video equipment, the camera, the solar panels and everything else like that we needed to make the energy for that is thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah. The costs are insane.
So it was good that as that support came through after Cairns and we were able to continue, we're really grateful. But we've been putting that money. It's not like you can just sort of stash that Patreon money in your bank account for like, I don't know, hotel stays or whatever. It actually,
we've had to replace some stuff, but we've also had to buy more stuff just so we want the quality that we wanted it to be, a certain quality. We're really happy now with the quality that we're getting to. We're getting,
because everything on the internet is theoretically forever. So we want to actually leave behind it a nice, good piece of work.
Yeah.
We don't want to look back on it and just go, oh my God, we just made more crap for the internet. We want it to be great.
And hopefully you can see the transition. We feel like the content's the same. We were saying that just the other day. Like they're definitely more polished, but the content's still the same as when we were in the Kimberley. It's just that we have a bit more camera gear and better computers and more experience.
Where did you learn editing? You're watching the experience happen.
Yeah. So if you go to the beginning, you'll see that the editing's not that good.
Yep.
That I'd like to see.
Tim Haynes
wants catch up there.
Tim Haynes wants to know, are our videos monetized? When we first started our videos, we didn't monetize them because we hate ads and we didn't want to have them on there. But what would happen is we'd use a bit of music and then other people would put a copyright claim on, and they would put ads on our videos.
Yeah, it wasn't really people. It was just like recording companies acting for
It was
particular artists.
It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
So in the end, we were just like,
we had permission from those artists, but they couldn't get them released. The claims released. It was really frustrating.
Yeah. So you guys were watching adverts on our videos, but we didn't see, even though it's a tiny amount of money, we didn't. So in the end, we just
monetized it.
Checked the box, monetized it. Someone told us recently they were trying to watch a video and there was like 7 ads through it. And we had to go back and just like adjust the settings because YouTube will just pack it full of ads without like we can't really have a decision on what you see as an ad. And most of them are targeted depending on your searches. So some people were just like, what are you doing putting Ted Cruz adverts on my videos or something like that, you know?
I got an ad for Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie, what? But we have no real control over that. But we did monetize those videos because we were still getting ads on there, but it wasn't up to us. So,
So are we still with you because the chats ceased?
Yeah, unable to connect.
That might be a cue for us to end it.
Yeah, I think we've been going a fair way. So.
2 hours. But it's been really great. I really hope you're still there.
All right. It looks like the internet's had a collapse on us. The time is still going. But anyway, thanks everyone for taking time out of your lives to join us. So it's been really great. Again,
thanks to all the lovely people that have just jumped on board to support us on Patreon. That's really cool.
It is. It's really wonderful.
Yeah. And a few people have said that they've given us some money on PayPal. So that's really nice too.
It all helps. It all helps.
Build up an immunity to crocodiles. No, I don't. I'm never going to say that I have an immunity to crocodiles.
There's only one way you get it. All right, so we'll make this one a wrap, and so till next time, we'll probably do another live chat sooner than we normally would. It's just that we're normally out with even worse internet than we have at the moment.
Yeah, so I think we can probably do another live chat and give you an update in a few weeks' time. It was a really great session.
I hope you appreciate that we did too, so everyone around the world can see it, and maybe you've been for both of them.
Yeah, thanks for all your really great questions today.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hit the end stream.
See ya.